And that was Latale from his and his song "Can't Stop." Larry and Latale is Larry Gardner. Hi, Larry. Welcome again to WLUW.
Cha-chin, not your boy back on. What's poppin'? It's lots of like a Larry the Lyrical. Thank you, Miss Trudy. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy spring. Happy summer. Shuttown summer.
Well, Larry, tell us a bit about that song "Can't Stop."
Basically, it's another classic from the archives. Basically, we're hitting the ground running again when it comes to the music and the events and the entertainment thing. So, what better than to open up, to let people know what's going on with that song. Can't Stop by one of the older artists who I used to work with, Miss Hayes. Hope she's doing okay and doing her thing, you know what I'm saying? But the reasoning for that song and the opening of the song is, to kind of shed light on what we've been doing. The hashtag Let It Play movement, independent artist movement that's going on, one that I'm spearheading. Basically, just bridging the gap and coming together as a unit when it comes to the arts again, music, entertainment, collective of artists around the city, around the neighborhood, the city. A few people from around just different areas coming together as collectives and networking and being able to push each other to the best of our abilities when it comes to you know this entertainment game. It's very fickle. So the what's going on right now is just again a group of artists, collectives, indie artists, and just um, artists, like-minded artists alike, coming together to try and build a platform to keep pushing each other.
So these independent artists, do they usually write songs, original songs, or how often do they do covers?
So usually I tend to see a few artists who are just now starting out, trying to get their feet wet with the hitting the scenes. They sometimes do covers, or just to shake off the dust, or try and work their performance muscles. But a lot of artists that I on the other side that I work with, um, they're actually independent artists themselves. They've been kind of hit pounding the pavement themselves, so to speak, to get their music out and just get their artist repertoire out, as to being able to just get the notoriety and hopefully build and expand on their fan bases. Such as myself, I am an independent artist in my own right, so I know how the game goes. And again, it's just like-minded artists such as myself coming together to network and build platforms.
You try to build events, right, for the artists to sing and present their work to the public.
Well, platforms, just different platforms. My platform, my branch, yeah, I deal with artists and performance development. So a lot of what I do event coordinating and networking with different artists. We have one, today too, free event. So it's nothing, no, it's just really just promotion. Again, just to push people, artists like myself. So we got that going on in collaboration with the Animal Records. They're doing like a festival just to push for more notoriety and more visibility to the community, and to those people who are kind of into the artsy music entertainment scene. So again, we got a promotional event going on today, actually from 2 to 5.
And Animal Records, do you work with them, or is it how
Oh
is the event connected? Huh?
no, they're just a up and coming. There's a nostalgic record store. That's all. They're just pushing to get again
Ah,
their visuals out there, their notoriety out there. But the event itself, like that, I'm speaking of. Excuse me.
mm-hmm.
Today from 2 to 5. That's again something just to reach out to the community, telling them, yo, we're here, we're doing things, come check us out, give us a chance,
So you and a lot of your fellow artists are going to be there and performing?
Yeah, shout out to a few of the artists who I've been working with, Darius Saw, PME Bills, Red Velvet, BFB Black Mo, you know, we even got comedy, different, shout out to Jack Woods, we got different engineers and DJs, shout out to DJ Imaginary. So different people, different genres of entertainment and just like-minded art coming together to push.
So you're expanding your network, and then how do you find the new artists? Do they hear about you or your the people that you work with, and then they appear, or how do you find new artists? Do you often find new ones?
At this point, I'm playing the telephone game, so as far as just me keeping myself kind of consistent is creating its own legs, so to speak. So people are hearing about it, they're passing it on to their friends and so on and so forth. But as far as how I kind of materialize the whole platform or the event is, I've worked again with different artists. I've been doing this for a while, so a lot of artists that I've come in contact with, done shows with, experienced different platforms with, kind of we connected and just kept the network going, kept the back and forth going when it comes to being able to expand not only my platform but their platform. Again, it's more or less just a network of independent artists coming together to again push and build and give people a different outlook on this entertainment movement that we got going on when it comes to underground indie artists.
And those fellow artists, are they also holding events, or are you the main event person?
No. They have a lot of these different artists have their own things going on. PME Bills has his, he's into gaming and stuff, so he's doing all of his stuff kind of mixed with that. I work with different people such as Shot City Cypher, shout out to Jizzle and them. Nut House Productions, he's a DJ, he's doing his thing, pushing a lot of different events on his end. Shout out to Straight Bars, Fatal Raps, and Bakers. They doing their thing. They're out pushing their music, their release for their new album and things of that nature. Dirty MF, and Dirty, aka Dirty Donuts. He's a event, MC as well. So this is different people that I've come in contact with, but it's all originated baseline, kind of stem from the sub T culture, and everybody else I'm just kind of one of the younger outlets, or so to speak.
How difficult is it to keep the art alive? There's a lot of there's life, there's work, and then there's art. So how do you manage it? How do artists usually manage that?
I can't speak for every artist, but how I kind of push is life is life, but art kind of replicates life, or it gives art is an entailment of life. So people's how they, in my case, again, can't speak for every artist, but some artists, like in my realm, we find the simplistic beauty in the struggle. We find the the build up, the shine, the silver lining, if you will, in everyday hustle, everyday life, music. That's what I do, at least. Again, can't speak for every artist, but to me, there's a nostalgic beauty in struggle that lets you keeps you grounded, keeps you humble, and keeps you sharp here and there.
So when do you use material from your life to write, and then let's say you're rapping, and then you're spitting you know your lyrics, and then do those lyrics go away if you how would you maybe it was a really good song, and then how do you try to recapture it?
You can't really capture the essence or recreate the essence of a great song. It's just that it's more of the feeling, if anything. And I think that's what a lot of music has been missing nowadays. Hence why a lot of us collectives are coming together. Like the heart and soul of music is kind of being diluted at this point, and you know, it's a time of reckoning at this point. So like, there's a lot of artists kind of reaffirming themselves, revising themselves to, you know, kind of retouch on their lives and their lyrics and their music. Others, they're creating the entertainment. They're seeing the beauty in what they're doing. So sometimes they're just entertainers. You know, you do have the artists that are actually into their art, and the soul of the performance. And then you have the people who are still, you know, they have the heart and soul in their entertainment. So they're trying to find ways to, you know, make it a little bit more digestible, but still a little bit more funny. But again, music and art and entertainment is very subjective. So a lot of artists have to find their voices in that lane that they're pursuing. So it's a lot behind it. It's a lot of here and there behind it. But other than that, it's it's when you create that, when you find that actual, you know, that feeling in the song, and you kind of find that connection, it builds. It's like I've been here. Let me expand on this, you know, in that way.
But then every time you perform it, it becomes a little different because you're not the same person that you are the versus the first time you perform it or the last time.
Yeah. So you do become, it's performing is a muscle at this point. Well, for me, so practice makes, you know, permanent. Usually people say practice makes perfect, but you're only as perfect as you feel in that time, that space, and whatever energy you feel is enough. But practice makes permanent. So I practice with the determination of kind of recapturing the energy and building on that, and keep building on that. Even if the energy is slightly a little different, you still feel it.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, when you do your hip hop, you're running along that feeling, and that's the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's chasing a high or anything, but it's more or less, you know, finding your happy place, I guess.
And then every time you perform it, it's a little different. Do you find yourself, or do other artists, they like to do recordings so that they have different versions of the same song?
Again, can't speak for every artist, but you know, again, I find the my happy place in a lot of songs, and even though it's the rhythm, so I would say if you find yourself in the rhythm, you recapture yourself in the rhythm, and you find that happy place, then a lot of the people kind of either recreate their art, or you know, their how they want to push or have people perceive the art in a different way.
Then are there songs that you memorize, but then you change a little bit as what based on what you're feeling, improvise, even though it's memorized?
Yeah, see, well, when it comes to performing, yeah, because can't give, again, I don't want to give the same thing over and over, because then people kind of find it, you know, tedious at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to, again, recapture everything in a different light, different angles, just different angles. Same picture, just from different angles.
Mm-hmm. And what does the audience say? Do you talk with them afterwards? And do you have some audience members that maybe have seen multiple versions of the same song? And what do they say? Do they talk about it?
Some people say it. Some people haven't heard. Like again, I presented on different things on different platforms, different ways. So sometimes the people will be like, "Oh, did I hear that song before?" So if they're really paying attention, then they'll actually pay attention to the lyrics, regardless of how I deliver it. But it's the message. The message again, same message, just from different angles.
Hmm. And what about accompaniment? You do have accompaniment as you're rapping, right? And then of course, and how do you choose it? How do you find the right song that will? How do you find the right beat and the music with the right mood for what you want to say?
You got to know your audience, know who you're performing for and with. You know how to sometimes being able to know how to present the message to certain people or to certain venues, or just present again, finding your happy place and being able to know the wave or the platform that you're on and acclimating accordingly.
Is it difficult finding the right music?
I've been doing this for a while, so no. At this point, no. Uh, does it take time? Does it take a lot of back to the drawing board? Yes. But that's with anything that you see great. You want to keep revising. You want to keep touching up, placing those things here and there to make it a little bit more digestible, a little bit more better, a little bit more presentable, a little bit more fun.
Do you have files of songs that you choose from as the mood strikes you about what to perform when it's when you're going to be performing that night?
I have a so-called arsenal. Yes, I do have some things in some extra songs here and there that I can present as time progresses and as platforms show the must for it.
What is the simplest part of performing, and what is the most difficult?
Simplest part is just doing it. That's the most simplest part. The hardest part is just doing it. So I know I'm a little funny with that, but it's kind of the thing. The easiest thing is to just do it. The hardest thing is to just do it, because again, music is subjective, or art, music, whatever, entertainment is subjective. So you're always gonna go up there with in the back of your mind. Oh, these are different people, or will they take to me and things of that nature. But that's always going to be there, because music entertainment is subjective. But as long as you put forth the effort, as long as you make the best effort to present yourself in the best light, then you're always gonna it's always a go-to when in doubt. Like when I was working at LA Fitness, back in the day, they told me the hardest thing when people get started working out is, the heaviest weight is the door, which is true. You gotta just get up there and do it.
When you're performing, do you do you still ever come to a point where it seems little hard to keep going? Does that ever happen anymore?
Mm. Only when I overthink,
Mm-hmm.
and the only time I overthink is when I feel like I can't recapture something if I miss a line or anything. But the show must go on, so you can't really get in your head. So that's still a little bit of something I'm working on. I'm just not as prominent or as big as it used to be. But yeah, just don't overthink it. Again, it's going to be new people each and every platform that you go on, and newer insights and outtakes of people's lives and how they present certain experiences and things of that nature. You just can't go up there and think that. If you have a good moral compass, then you have a good setting you're 10 toes down on what you're doing, then again, go out there and present it in the best light that you can.
How do you read an audience? Do you talk with them beforehand? Do you glance at them and you kind of understand audiences by this time? But every person is different. How do you gauge like whom to perform to?
Gauging a crowd, again, yeah, how I poke fun sometimes. I poke the I poke the bear. I kind of just get people rowdied up. Again, I'm a little bit of an entertainer myself, comedian, so I kind of intertwine all of that with my music and whatever platform that I'm working on. Uh, but it's, again, you can't really think about that. It's overthinking when you do that. At that point, you just go out there and do it. Go out there and do it. Some things aren't, some entertainment outlets aren't for everybody, and that's just, I get it. It's subjective. But at the same time, when it comes to you as an artist wanting to pursue that lane or pursue that take in life, you just gotta be able to check it up, go back to the drawing board, see how you can flip a few things, and then go right back out there and do it.
So do you gauge the audience? You talk with them, or maybe do a little comedy and see how they react? Is that
Yeah,
how you gauge it?
yeah, yeah. I'm an MC, so I gauge the crowd, poking fun here and there.
Mm-hmm. And is that poking fun at yourself sometimes, or what? Poking fun at what?
Yeah. I think some of my best shows I poke fun of myself, and then people try to chime in, and then I kind of redirect it and then bring it back. So yeah, it's a tactic. It's a tactic.
Mm-hmm. So you talk a lot about it being a business, but what's the most fun part of performing?
The people, being able to see the faces, of the people that they never knew you existed, and then, oh wow, that look of surprise to where, oh, I did not know you were around. I need more. That look.
Mm-hmm. And do you find a lot of new people attending, and then do you kind of like gravitate toward gauging them, the new ones?
Yes, I find it very interesting sometimes when I find newer artists who are just hitting the scene because they have no idea. It's like a deer caught in the headlights. It's like, oh, yeah, you just now, diving in the deep waters. Cool. Let me help you. I can point you in the right direction, or, at least find somebody that's going to point you in the next direction. So that's the reason for the network.
Mm-hmm.
It's a family at this point.
And of course, the family, there's different family members, so different types of music. Would you say that all your artists are, everyone is different, or are there certain, like how many different types of artists do you have working together with you?
A lot of the artists that I work with, especially at some of my events, jazz artists, uh, composers, pianists, guitarists, comedians, uh, R&B singers, drill artists. I get a lot of different genres. It's a plethora of entertainment when it comes to the events that I throw and present out to the people, and that's, again, just for the simple fact that you know it's been long overdue, especially since COVID. A lot of this stuff was already going before COVID, or in the works before COVID hit. So COVID shut down a lot of progression, and I'm just one of the very few of the many who are are trying to bring it back. It is, again, it's still touch and go due to the fact that it's still in times of COVID. But we're out of the lockdown now. We're just trying to ease back into people being a little bit more social and seeing art for what it really is, that soul, that entertainment, that glow that keeps you going and makes you want more.
Did you lose a lot of artists as a result of COVID?
Moving like people moving to different areas, things of that nature. Yeah, but some people are, either redirected their path to their entertainment lane, or rebranding, or certifying themselves in different lanes. Podcast is a big thing these days.
Hmm. So what do you mean by podcast? Do the people perform on the podcast and then try to sell the podcast? What is their business like?
um, well, I've I know I've touched on it because of the COVID lockdown, just to keep the music and the artists who I was still working with, keeping that as hot as possible. But yeah, a lot of different people do a lot of different things. It's turning into talk shows and consulting and just kind of group talk, group therapy at this point. Um, but yeah, it's still a thing. Podcasting is a thing, and I do incorporate some things to it. But you guys have to stay tuned for that. You have to catch the events first to get more of the podcasting info.
Yes. When you're performing, so what would you say is the most difficult in performing?
Mm, the performance itself, probably keeping yourself, if you're a seasoned artist, keeping yourself in in the rhythm of the actual song, and not getting too hype and overdoing, if you're intertwining the entertainment with the music, not overdoing certain parts of the entertainment, and then getting back to the music and not overdoing some parts of the music and still leaving some people with the entertainment. Yeah, that's my take on it. I say that would probably be the hardest thing, not losing yourself too much into, um, you know, when you find your happy place, not losing yourself too much, to where you're overperforming. That's what I think.
So in other words, you're trying to make it fresh. You don't want to stay in the same formula. Do you find yourself wanting to make it a little better, make it a little different? What you've always been doing.
Yes, I switch it up. Some things I kind of stay with the go-tos, but then again, depending on how I gauge the crowd, I'll probably niche in a few, nuances here and there with the go-tos and things of that nature when it comes to how I gauge the crowd.
What is the best advice that you ever got about this?
About music and entertainment, the
Yes.
best advice was don't let the people get to you. If you got a message, if you got a story to tell, if you know that you're doing it, with the best of intentions and the best of the outcomes, keep it going. Why not?
And don't let the people get to you. Do you mean like audience?
Audience, p- haters, however if you're not doing something right if you don't have a couple of haters here and there. So it's just don't let people box you in, basically. Don't let people's views of what you're doing or how you're doing it, and like, again, if you have the best of intentions and you're leading it through the fire and you're doing it consistently, you're putting forth the effort, you're getting up every day, you're pushing just as hard as you would push if you were getting up to go make a 9 to 5 check. Keep it going.
What are some of the ways to deal with haters?
Leave them in the rear view. Just keep it going, keep it pushing.
Do they disrupt you while you're performing? Any of them?
Not anymore. As again, seasoned at this point, it's just keep it going. There's nothing really. Just It's just like, I feel for my brothers in comedy when it comes to hecklers and stuff like that. You don't sit there and write a 15-minute skit or a 15-minute, set with people's feelings, in the back of your head. At least not all good comics, like at least not the prominent ones. You don't sit there and just, oh, how, no. You tell the story. You do, the best of the possible way you can. Some people are going to accept it. Some people aren't. Yeah, it comes with the territory.
So when you do comedy, do you and you have one set? Do you how often do you use that set before you move on to another set? Because I have seen some comics and they say the same thing at every venue, but of course maybe they're totally.
The delivery is different. Yeah, I mean, people is independent. So again, that's kind of what the independent lane is. I can't give away too much of that game because I'll be giving away a hack. I cannot give away a hack. So if you haven't seen or stayed up consistently on certain artists or genres of art or entertainment, just keep looking. So I can't, like, that's a good question, Trudy. I can't go deep on that one.
It's okay.
But for what I would say is, if people are interested in seeing newer entertainment, newer genres, start looking in your own backyard, especially for shows like the ones I present, especially ones that's going down with Animal Records today from 2 to 5. It shows how hard the artists are here are working and how they are taking into accountability to present their art.
So when you perform, oftentimes of course you perform the same song again and again. When is it time to move on to a new, different song? When you feel tired of the old song, or is it just based on the audience? What happens? Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah, that's a good question too. But no, it's I again can't speak for every artist, but I base my performances, yes, on the songs that I know people have gravitated to, and then I kind of formulate that vibe or that event based off of that gauging with the people, knowing my audience.
Latale, spell Latale and Larry Gardner. If our listeners want to learn more about you and your events, where should they go?
You can follow me on IG at LA_T_LY17. Or you can go on Facebook at Latale, aka Larry the Lyrical. Also personal page Larry Gardner. You can find me on X at LA_T_LY. You can also Google the name Larry the Lyrical. A lot of my events will pop up on Google. But other than that, you can catch me just about every Thursday kicking it with the Coach Connect crew. Got something going on this Thursday. Other than that, that's it. Just being able to catch me. You can catch me at different here and there open mics. I know there's a few other open mics and other entertainment platforms that are about to hit, going into again spring summer 2026. Chi-Town, stand up.
And in some of your handles you use 17. Is there a significance to the number 17 for you?
Not just the number 7. Yeah, I always number 1 is just a favorite number of mine, and then 7 is just number of completion. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Latale, Larry Gardner.
Thank you so much, Miss Trudy. Cha-cha-nat, your boy back on. Love y'all. Stand up, Chi-Town.